Hey, good morning. Looks like we're live. As everybody starts to drop in, let me know if everything's working out all right. Everybody have a good week. Everybody, and by everybody, there's probably not anybody here yet, but if you're watching this later, I hope you had a good week. This is Mo and Joe, episode 8. We're gonna finish up today working on that dog bed that we started last week. I have been editing all week. I released a video. I'll talk to you guys about that more in just a minute, but yeah, we'll give it just a few minutes, let everybody join in. Let me know in the comments when you guys get here. I'll start looking out for people. Anybody here yet? Is that our comment or someone else?
Steve Bentley is here from UK.
What's up, Steve? Good afternoon in the UK. I think it's like 3 o'clock there, 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock. Is it 4 o'clock there, Steve, in the UK? I think I'm finally kind of getting into the rhythm of this whole thing.
Jason's here too.
What's up, Jason? Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to go ahead and get started then. Now that we have 2 people here, that seems like enough. It's just a casual conversation between 3 dudes. So today we're going to be working on the dog bed that we started. 4 people. That's
4
crazy.
p.m. in Great Britain.
4 p.m. Nailed it. So today we're going to be finishing up on the dog bed that we started on last week. So we're going to be putting the bevels on the tops of the legs. We're going to be attaching all the slats to the bottom of the bed, and we probably won't get to gluing it all together today, but I'll hopefully at least get a dry fit so you can see what everything is going to look like when it's all finished up. I've got the panel glued up for cutting out the circle for the dog bowl, but I don't have the dog bowl yet, so I probably won't mess with that today. But again, follow me on Instagram or Twitter or your platform of choice, and I'll be sharing the finished build on there. This week I released a video yesterday. I was hoping to get it out Thursday, but the edit took me a little longer than I thought. Editing is annoying. Sometimes you get into it like halfway into a video, and then you realize I don't really like the way the pacing works, or something in here is missing, or it's just boring when you go back to watch it. So I went through, freshened up the edit, got that out yesterday at 10 a.m. I can show you what I was working on. It's this. So I found these really, really nice maple slabs. They were mostly live edge maple slabs with this beautiful spalting, really nice warm color that I brought out of it with some Danish finish oil. And then I poured an epoxy river into it, and then it's using this really nice can Crowder hardware that's just like, I mean, this is like a 150-pound door with the max weight of this kit, and it's still just super easy to operate. So check out that video. It's on the channel. I think it's linked in the description too if you want to check that out. I also used that branding iron that I got, this guy here, because when it was all said and done, it looked beautiful. And really, that's the point of this. This is a totally pointless door. I'm just covering up this ugly, builder grade door with it. But the real point was to display this beautiful panel in my shop, because I really like the slab. It's probably the nicest slab I've ever had. But when I finished putting everything together, I realized it needed just a touch. So I put my maker marker on the front there, and I think it looks really good finished now. And then I used my wall control boards. I used to have my clamp wall here, but I shifted this to just be kind of the stuff that I need for my jointer, some of the tools for my jointer, for whatever reason a pry bar, because I was trying to clear out another toolbox because I hate toolboxes. Got my Bernzomatic there, a couple of tools that I use pretty frequently around the shop, and then I've got my maker's marks, my dado blade. Back in, you can see my dad's here because I'm not moving the camera with my mind. So hopefully we'll get some better angles on the build. So today's episode, as typical, we're gonna go through the build. I've got my makers of the week here at the end. I'll share something with you at the end of the video if we have time. We do this broadcast every Sunday at 10 a.m. So if you're interested in this content, like, subscribe, whatever, if you're not already. I'm assuming most of you guys probably are. But if you're not, like, subscribe, and please like, actually, because it'll show the rest of the subscribers that people actually enjoy watching this, and hopefully it'll broadcast it out to more of them next week. But yeah, every Sunday, 10 a.m. We'll go ahead and get started with the build. I'm going to go ahead and knock out these roundovers first, just because I'm already set up for it, and it'll be quick. Or not roundovers, these bevels. Let me get my hearing protection, which I don't remember where it is. There we go. Oh. Good toss. And I've got a 45-degree bevel bit set up in here. I don't know if you can get a tight shot on that, Dad. But I got a 45-degree bevel bit set up in here. And I've already got it set up with a test piece to make sure. I'm going to lower it a little bit just to be totally safe. A test piece so that I made sure that the bevel doesn't leave a mark on the edge of the pieces. Now it does. We're good. And this is actually the router table that I built in another previous video. You can check that out on my channel if you want to see it. There's free plans actually available on makesomething.com, which is Craig's maker setup. They provided this tabletop and plate and things like that. We'll pretend like I have dust collection set up today. Than I thought. Yeah, they're slightly better on that one. We can get the tip out on the side there. What's up? Oh, you can see right there on the side that I chipped out there, so I started going backwards into that cut. I'll talk to you about it in a minute after I turn the router off. Almost done. All right, so we got the legs. One one thing you might have noticed, this is cedar, so it chips really, really easily. So I was trying to back into the back end of the bevel where it would have just totally blown out the side like you see here. But even with that, since it's cedar, it chips really easily. Fortunately, this is like a little quick outdoor project, and it's for my dog, so I'm sure she won't mind.
Jason was saying, looks like you're getting some tear out.
Yeah, it was blowing out the back end here. So I first started, you should always try to climb cut. So climb cut meaning that the blade is eating into the direction you're feeding from. But when you're gonna get like an unsupported back edge like that, it's better to feed it in backwards just to like at least get that first piece that's gonna be unsupported off the back end of the piece cut before you climb the rest of the cut to get a smooth finish. With this cedar, it's probably just, there's probably a better way to do it. I probably should have just done it with a hand plane instead of with a router. I was just trying to do it quick, but it's a dog project, so it's fine.
So Carrie, Tim, Jason, and Mark are on since we last.
What's up, Carrie, Tim, Jason, Mark? Everything good? You guys have a good week? Cedary. So now from there, we're gonna go to, you can probably swing the camera over here if you want, Dad. We're gonna get these slats marked out. I'm gonna do these with dominoes again, but I'm using these little spacer blocks. These are 3.5 inch spacers, just to account for the length of this thing. I'm actually gonna start over here at this side, and I'm gonna try to take these out. So I didn't trim off the dry fit tabs on these dominoes, or whatever they're called. They're just like some extra piece that makes them fit super tight. I talked about that last week though. My dead blow hammer, I think it's on the floor over there. Thank you. It'll be fine. Remember which side's up. This side's up. So it goes like that. And this side's up. It goes like that. I'll just start these on this side. I'm just using these to mark out where I'm going to put these slats. I'm hoping I have enough space on this because I didn't have enough space on my bench. So I cut 3.5 inch spacer blocks because that's the width, or basically I took the width of all of the slats divided by the length of these, or subtracted from the length of these stretchers, and then I divided it by, the number of slats that I had. So that gave me the average, or the distance I needed to go between each of the slats. Lay a couple of these out, just so they're somewhat square, and then I'll mark them. And there's my pencil. Anybody building anything fun these days? Any good projects coming up? Let me know, either like share a link in the comments and I'll put it into the show notes, or whatever works for you, I guess. I don't like that one. Do this one. That. And that. So now I'm just marking out for the dominoes. I'm trying to have these as inset as I can. That way I get as much of the cushion buried here as I can. Move our spacers over one. Of course, why wouldn't that happen? You guys have dogs? Anybody have a dog? I've got I think she's 11 now, maybe 12 year old. She's a boxer pit bull mix. Her name's Callie. Oftentimes you'll see her on this stream because she likes to sneak out because she knows Dad's out here. She's my little buddy.
Mark says, sand down some dominoes and mark them and use them for the dry fit, easier to remove.
Yeah, I've seen that done a lot. I should do that. I don't know if I'm lazy or dumb or both. Probably both.
This is your father. No, you're not. Luke.
This is
Luke.
the son. He has to say that contractually, I think. Oh no, there's a split in one of these slats. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me. You could obviously just put a rail on the bottom of this and nail to this if you wanted to simplify this project a little bit. I'm probably overcomplicating it with these dominoes and the big extra step, but hopefully they'll be stronger and hopefully I'll be able to sink the cushion into here more to get the look that I'm going for. I just kind of want those cushions to just barely poke out the top of the side rails here. Almost done with the boring part. Then there's another boring part. Just kidding. It's woodworking. Everything's kind of slow. But I like baseball, so it's cool. Who else here misses baseball more than they realized they would? I was talking to your wife, to my stepmom, yesterday, and she was saying that she's surprised how much she misses baseball. And I'm like, you haven't even been to a game in a couple years. She's like, yeah, but just knowing that there's something going on. I'm like, I guess that's really the excitement of baseball anyways. There's something going on.
For those that don't know, you're in the St. Louis area where the Cardinals are.
Yeah, we're here in St. Louis, so it's a big baseball town down here. Baseball and soccer, basically, in St. Louis. And hockey. Did I mention that we won a Stanley Cup? Pretty recently, actually. I think we're going to be the first team ever to hold a Stanley Cup for 2 years.
No, they said they're going to give it away.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're going to have a Stanley Cup just with a half season.
Oh, are they?
They're going to award.
We're going to do a half cup Stanley Cup this year?
Yeah.
Or half
We
season?
get to keep half of a cup next year.
Hey, we're still doing well. Maybe we'll win it again. Get some more coffee. Bring these over here. I should probably mark these before I do this. I'm going to. So we're going to go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adjust my depth. I think that's fine. Let's double check. All right. Dominoes won't actually work. So I was seeing if I could actually even get it deep enough so that the domino could work. You see this sidewall here? That's just not enough material to support a domino. So I'm gonna have to do instead, which is fine because it's actually gonna be a lot easier, is I'm just gonna install a bottom rail, and then I'm just gonna nail these to the bottom rail. Cut it out of some cedar. I've got some scrap cedar over here. Hopefully something long enough.
This proves to your viewers that you're doing it from raw and not pre-prepping anything.
I mean, I Martha Stewarted my parts, but I didn't pre-assemble them.
This is fresh video.
This is fresh. This is real. This is happening in real time. Doing it live. Okay, what should I use for that? It should be cedar because it's going to be outside. I want to hope I have something that's already squared off so I don't have to mess with it too much. But I don't think I do. Yeah, it's bowed as heck. But it is, and it's pine too. What should I use? Are these long enough? Those aren't. Those are important pieces. I should keep those. I think I'm gonna have to make it out of this. And I'll probably have to cut a couple strips and glue those to the bottom. Okay, let's do that. This is actually gonna be a lot easier in the end. And I should have probably checked to see if those dominoes, if those pieces were thick enough to take domino anyway, so fine.
Bevel says you are a nice inventant.
Inventant?
Uh-huh.
Que bueno.
Said that right.
It works. I don't even know what that means, but I like it. All right, so we'll cut a couple strips here.
Tim is asking, he wants to build a ceramic cake barbecue stand.
Oh yeah?
Any ideas or plans for one?
I don't have an egg, but Mark Spagnolo actually just built an egg deck. I think it's part of the Woodworkers Guild plans, I think, but he made a video for it on YouTube, I believe. Check it out. So the Wood Whisperer just made one out of cedar also.
Wood Whisperer?
The Wood Whisperer, yeah.
Maybe take a pause and explain to everyone what's in your brain and what you're doing there.
Yeah, so good point. So these pieces here are going to be glued onto the inside face of these pieces. So these are, this is going to be the inside face here. I'm going to glue these at the bottom here. I'm trying to get as little material as I can with it conceivably having enough strength to hold the slats. And then the slats that I was going to domino, those are now going to rest on that piece here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to nail these in, screw these in, or just let them rest because they don't have to be nailed in. So it's kind of like a bed frame basically is what I'm building. I'm going to do this with some wood glue, and I think I'm going to use some pin nails. Get a few more on the fly. So we'll get as far in this build as we can today, but we'll see. That derailed me a little bit, having to adjust my design on the fly. But that happens all the time woodworking. I don't know the saying, but
Tim said thank you for the tip on the ceramic egg holder.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's built 2 of them, I think, actually. Just make sure these nails don't go all the way through. Yeah, Mark's built 2 egg grill holder things. He's a big barbecue nut. He actually just spun up a second Instagram page just devoted to barbecue, but he's like one of the OG makers, woodworkers on YouTube. He came to Workbench Con in February this year, and I got to meet him. Super, super nice guy, super smart. It was cool because I've always looked up to him. Looked up to you too, Dad, don't worry.
Not for woodwork.
Not for woodwork, yeah. My first project actually on my website was building a set of built-in cabinets for my dad. And he was actually in the shop with me that first time. And I think he marveled at the amount of patience that woodworking takes, more than even like the craftsmanship. Just because every step is one thought out piece of another piece of another piece of another piece. You're always just taking baby steps the whole way through a project like that.
So it's like the Channel 9 painter.
Yeah, it's like it's like Bob Ross. He's just always so chill, and that's like what's required really to be successful at woodworking. So now I'm just gonna throw a bead of glue down. So the glue is going to be the primary like holding force for these things. But I'm going to put some nails in just so that I don't have to wait for them to dry. But the glue should create a much stronger hold than the nails anyway once it's dry. Go a little bit away from the edge because I don't need to be that close to the edge. And now you can just pray it doesn't split.
Like old box spring.
Yeah, this is building a box spring for my dog.
Box spring bed holder.
You can see when I'm firing a nail, I'm firing it so the head is either perpendicular to the grain of the wood or diagonal to the grain of the wood.
Are
That's
those going to be strong enough to hold the slats?
once you get the glue on there, the glue is what's really going to be the strength, not so much the slats. And then I'll put another one. And I'll cut this short just a bit. You got a batteries finally? Ah. There's the last little piece of slat. This is fun. I like building on the fly. What's funny is that doing it this way, which is actually the simpler way, which is really just kind of like a backup, I guess, in my mind the whole time, is actually way, way faster and way easier. So we might actually get to finish at least roughing out this. I still need to sand it, and I still need to do the dog bowl, but we might finish at least roughing this out on the stream today, so that's cool. Make sure when you're firing pins and stuff that's thin like this, keep your fingers away from the entry point and from, basically keep it 2 inches outside of where that pin is. That'll keep it from, because a pin will find the path of least resistance a lot of times. And so if it goes into wood like that, it can go up to the length of the nail in any direction, like hooking around, going at diagonals. It's annoying. I've never gotten myself, but knock on wood. So a lot of times you'll see me like take my fingers off the wood as I fire the pin, or just like scoot my hand away from the spot that I was originally lining everything up. I don't really care to have a nail in my finger. It's just, you know, it's a personal hobby of mine of not having nails in my fingers. The handles of all my pin nailers are all gluey. Is that just me? I don't know. Anything else exciting happening this week that I've missed out on? Any of you guys watched any videos from any woodworkers that I need to check out? Maybe include in the makers of the week for next week. You can check the links below. Once we get into that section, I'll show you what I've got for this week. But always looking for new creators to start following. So if you've got anybody, let me know in the comments if there's anybody I need to check out. You got me, Padre? Oh, I had one little blowout there. It's not, it's just a crack though. All right, so now we've got both of those done. That was super quick. Now we can actually just skip straight into assembly of this thing. And I've already dry fit, so I can go ahead and glue it up. So let's do that. This is back right. You can get an angle down at the floor, Dad. It's probably easier to assemble this on the floor. Lay everything out. Front left, front right. Left the face. Which is the face? This is the face. Front left, front right. Back right, back left. And this sides up and the sides in. So that goes like that. And then we've got the other piece right here. That. We've got the two stretchers over here. I remember which side's up on these. It's probably something I should have marked. It's that way. And this one goes I don't know which way this one goes. Those don't match up. Those do, so it's that way. I get a fresh blue bottle. Here's one of these little guys. Oh, I hope I don't get demonetized for whistling that song.
You did it under 5 seconds, so it's okay.
Do you think so? Is that fair use?
Yeah. That's what they say on the radio.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if the YouTube people got those rules.
They will.
All right, I'm just gonna glue there. I'm only going to do one face of each of these because I just want to try to avoid too much squeeze out. Yeah, that's definitely the right side. Okay. Got that. I'm just getting a little bit of glue down there in the mortises from the domino so that the dominoes are going to stick at least on one side. That ought to take care of it. Front left. Now we'll do the stretchers, same deal. Can you see what I'm doing down here okay, Dad?
Absolutely.
All right, good. Glue. If you wanted this to be super fancy, you could probably pre-sand everything. That would be a little bit easier. A real-time glue up. I'm a little bit rushed. I don't want to let any of my joints dry out. And I've got to get this in clamps. All right, so there's that. Go onto this top side here. If anybody wants to drop a like or throw a comment on my dad's phenomenal camera work, I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Or if they have better ideas of how to have improvised on this.
Yeah, if you have a better idea on how we could have improvised on this setup to make it work. Or if you just want to start a GoFundMe for him, I'm sure he needs that too. He's a poor man. That is not it. That is, it is the right side. Put the face. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Doesn't feel right, but it is right. Just gotta go that way. All right. Some glue over here. What time is it, Dad?
10:37.
Hey, wow, 30 minutes and we're almost done. It's like we knew what we were doing this time. Maybe it's all those camera moves from last week that took me so much time. So this is Gorilla wood glue. Should be maybe a little bit better for this outdoor application. That's why I grabbed it.
Mom's wanting a shout out.
Oh, my mom's a real estate agent in St. Louis. If you want to sell a house, Christine LeFavor. Does that make you happy, Mom? She also gave birth to me, so I don't know. Maybe I owe her something. Gluing's so exciting, isn't it?
Watching paint dry and glue dry.
Well, we're not watching it dry though. We're just watching some nincompoop apply glue. Even more exciting.
What was it that you said about Bob Ross? You just watch them paint.
Yeah, just watching Bob Ross paint here. Just a little bit of cayenne pepper. That's not it. That's not the right guy. Titanium white glue. There's a little happy little tree. Yep, right there, little happy tree.
Mom says that you're her favorite.
I'm her favorite YouTuber?
No.
Or just her favorite son? Oh, that totally makes sense. There's way better YouTubers than me, though. All right. Sloppy glue up. That's what happens when you're rushed. There's some of that. All right, got my happy little tree. And there we go. Now I'm going to get some paper towels. And I have a spray bottle of something somewhere. Oh, there it is. This is not Windex, it's watered down Windex, but it does a decent job of anything around the shop. It's like the big fat Greek wedding. This Windex handles everything. I don't know if that's still a relevant reference, but whatever. Got it. All right, just get my clamps. Couple of these Rockler guys. Long pipe clamps. What are you doing over there? You go over here.
First time everybody's getting to see all the workshop
And it's marvel of glory.
moving all over.
Yeah, I'm all over the place today. Thinking on my feet. So I know I'm gonna need my extensions for these. So one thing I love about pipe clamps is you can always just like add extensions to them if you need to get longer lengths. So I'll set this down. A little bit of pressure to bring that together. I feel like I'm on like some sort of game show, like trying to finish this build before the timer runs out. It's like American Ninja or Iron Chef or something. Here's your ingredients. Some cedar, glue. You need to make a dog bed. Go. That's fun though. This whole like live streaming project has helped me actually be a little more productive during the week too. But of course, I got a clamp that's not quite long enough. Come on, be barely long enough. That would be awesome. It's not. It's not long enough. They're all cut to different lengths. But that's the only super long one that I have. So I'm gonna
Well, we'll do the other side.
can MacGyver the other side together. One of my long clamps. Yeah, just two clamps together. They pull on each other, and you don't need like a ton of clamping pressure to bring a joint together, so should work. Actually, this will probably work even better because I can center the pressure better on where the joint actually is. All right, there. Ooh, that is not good.
Bowing in.
Yeah, I'm bowing in too much. So one of the big things with clamping is you want to make sure that the pressure you're applying to your joint is in a straight line. Because if you do it at an angle, you're actually going to pull your joint apart. So just need to make sure that's coming there.
Maybe on that side.
Yeah, probably. Like that.
More space.
Yeah. And then
Has the possibility of being square.
that's the goal. Possibility of square. So, honestly, I could just use a band clamp for this. Just put tie a tie down strap around it and just use that to pull it all in because it's all the joinery should hold it square, but that's for another show. And hold these from the inside.
15 minutes.
Almost done. I just want to get this in clamps and then we'll move on to the next part. Come on. Move this. It's putting too uneven a pressure on it, on the joint. So is that.
Where you're pulling in has to be where the domino.
Yeah, it's got to be where the domino. Yeah, it's got to be in line with the joinery. I'm going to do that off camera here in just a minute since we're almost done with this episode. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a band clamp, go around the whole thing, ratchet it down, and that should hold it all square. And then I'll just put any additional clamps if I need to add any extra pressure. But that way the pressure is in line with all the joinery instead of the pressure being out of line with the joinery. Oh, okay, I need coffee. Hang on. Okay, so that's basically what's going to happen there. I'll drop the slats in so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like finished. I'll throw the cushions on. Where to put my slats? Right here. So from there, just got our slats will fit in. And those are just
Old-time bed.
an old-timey bed. And then I've got the cushions. Just like that. Oh, my cuts were perfect. And boom, dog bed. Nailed it, right? Cool. So that's basically it for the build segment. And as usual, I'm running over time.
No, you're good.
Am I good?
Grab the laptop and kind of go through some of your
Let's do it.
buddies.
Let me check in on
Picks
some.
of the week.
I'll check in on some comments and look at the creators of the week. Can you move your foot? There we go. Have enough slack here. Oh, technology's moving all over the place here. I'm gonna go here because I don't think I trust it going any further. Let's see, any comments I missed? Ceramic egg, sanding down some dominoes from Mark Bongers. It was great seeing all you guys today. Let me share with you guys different screen here. Whoa. All right. So, creators of the week this week. First one I want to call out is Izzy Swan. Made this completely unnecessary, yet completely awesome. Very much appreciated table here. So he built a. Thank you. So he built a finishing station that has a table that's integrated into the shelves. So when he folds it down, it creates this flat table space, which is awesome. I've always wanted to build one of those. I've seen them online and stuff, but that's a really cool application of it. So follow Izzy Swan. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. He's been a long time on all the platforms. Also, a really, really nice guy and really supportive of the creator community. So check out Izzy Swan at Izzy Swan Woodworking. The link's down in the description. Also, I figure since this is Mo and Joe, I'd share Bob from I Like to Make Stuff's video. He turned a coffee tamper for making those fancy espressos. He turned it and he CNC cut the metal and did the whole thing. He also did some pattern plywood, which you've seen me talk about in previous streams. That's also really a cool concept. I shared, who did I share? I forgot his name. But I'll remember it later and it'll kill me. So anyway, here's his full video on YouTube though. Really cool project. And Bob makes really awesome videos. But he made a block of pattern plywood. Then he took it to the lathe and turned a really cool piece to use for coffee tamper. So a really neat project there. Next is Nick Zametti. And if you're not following Nick Zametti, I don't know what's wrong with you. But he has made some insane creations out of epoxy pencils, epoxy and crayons. Just a really creative guy, creative applications. He recently made this mallet though, or hammer. I don't know what you want to call it. I guess it's a hammer. Looks like it's a very large block of epoxy compared to that smaller mallet next to it. out of colored pencils and epoxy, and that thing looks so huge and so heavy. I wonder if you can even operate that, but I suppose the epoxy is probably fine for that. But those are the 3 creators of the week. Their links are in the description down below if you want to check them out. And now we'll open back up for some Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, or if they want to see any projects or give any recommendations for pieces they want to see in streams in the future, here's your time to ask. Let's see, do we have a lot of people still online? Yeah, there's still quite a few people still watching. So let me know your questions. Let me know what I can help you guys out with. Sorry, just playing with settings here. Oop, not that. There we go. Are there any questions? Anything in the Q&A? Everyone can tell I'm my mom's favorite child, so that should tell you something. I think that means a lot. And if Dylan or Derek, if you guys are watching, eat it. Any questions? Anybody still on here? What are some rookie mistakes you can warn against from Mom? Rookie mistakes in woodworking. Yeah. 3 fingers is always better than 2. Always make sure to like respect all the tools that in your shop. Don't take any like the safety guidance stuff lightly. You can always make a new piece of wood. I've heard some people can do it, but I don't think you can regrow a finger. So especially around like table saws and circular saws. The other thing is like I think I mentioned this in another video I did. If something doesn't feel safe, it isn't safe. So get to a point where you feel comfortable doing what you're trying to do, and don't like overreach your comfort level. So if something doesn't feel safe, or it feels a little like sketchy in the way you're going to perform a process, then try to secure the work better. Try to see if there's a way you can get your hands further away from blades. Try to see if there's a way that you can, be more balanced or more supported on the work that you're doing. The one problem with that, though, is that you do get normalized to doing sketchier and sketchier things as you get more experienced. So try to keep that in the back of your mind and know, if I were me 3 years ago, would this feel unsafe? And if that's your burden of safety, you're usually going to be okay. So that's kind of one.
Making plans and not making plans? Is that a rookie mistake?
So what is it? Piss poor planning equals poor performance, or whatever. I don't think it's always important to have perfect plans for woodworking. It depends on the way you think. If you're a spatial thinker and you need to kind of see something in front of you to do it, then a lot of times, especially like your first time going through a project, it's kind of like building a live prototype, and sometimes certain problems need to be solved out in real life. If you're a spatial thinker, though, and you can actually like a visual thinker versus a spatial thinker, if you're a spatial thinker and you can think about the areas that are going to be challenges ahead of time, it's going to be a lot quicker to get through a project. So that's where you can use things like, you can basically think about all your dimensions in your head, maybe scribble down a few basic dimensions and go from there. But that really depends on your approach. There's also going down the middle where you have SketchUp or Fusion 360, where you can pre-render and pre-design your project and like basically have all the mistakes in a virtual build environment instead of in real life. And that's a good way to save material. And I think that's probably the best way to get like totally professional results. But if you're building as a YouTube creator, a lot of what you see is going to be prototypes. If you're building as a professional where you're selling your products, it's probably important to do all of those steps. Design, prototype, refine the prototype from physical space, and then build a second version of it that's more refined. Because if you're going to be selling something as part of a collection, or even if it's just you're going to be selling something for a significant amount of money, you definitely want to make sure that it's fully fleshed out. retaining a customer is a lot easier than getting a new customer. Morning from Ontario. What's up, KGCNDN? KG Canadian? Okay, I get it. Best way to flatten a large piece of wood without a big planer. Router jig, cut in straps and cut through a small planer, then glue up. So you can see the way that I used to do it in this latest video that I did when I built the panel door. So I used a router jig to flatten the wider pieces, just because it was easier to use a router jig on wider pieces. But I needed to remove a significant amount of material. So I then flipped that over and put it through my smaller planer. If you don't have a planer though, and you need to flatten a wide piece of wood, it's really not as hard as you would think to use a scrub plane and a jack plane and a smoothing plane or a jointer to get a nice flat surface. I mean, even thick wood is somewhat malleable. So as long as you get it, use like winding sticks and use like, a straight edge to figure out how flat, to make sure that your wood is actually flat and out of wind. You can get it done with hand tools. It's a good workout, but you can get it done. So you might consider trying it with hand tools if you don't have a router, if you don't have a planer, things like that. But yeah, for the way I did it before I had wider format tools was with a router plane and with my smaller planer. There's also a way, if you have a kind of medium large format planer, there's a way to do it where you can, it's called the shelf method, is you use your jointer to cut a large rabbet in the sheet. Then you'll put a piece of wood the size of that rabbet inside your planer, and you'll run through your planer with that rabbet riding on the piece of plywood inside of your planer, and that'll allow you to use your jointer to make a reference surface that you can then flatten from in your planer, if that answers it. Does that answer your question, KG Canadian? Any other questions? We've got a couple more minutes. Thanks for a lot more activity in the comments today. It didn't feel like I was talking to my dad. Hello to Carrie from Vestaburg, Michigan. Just looking back through the comments. Are there any more comments? Anybody else have any questions before we end the stream? Very good. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys joining me today again on Mo and Joe. I'll see you guys next Sunday at 10 a.m. Unless something dramatic happens. But every Sunday, 10 a.m. Central, I'll be here building something, talking about stuff, having some coffee. Look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, keep your tools sharp, keep your mind sharper. I'll see you next week.